I'm live. Oh man, that sucks. They folded it in half. Yeah, that sucks. It'd be a nice poster if they had to fold it in half. Oh well. Can't be perfect, right? Alright. Where's everybody at? A minute in. Where's all my subscribers, all my peeps? I guess I don't get any peeps today. Yep. Woo, what a nice day. So, it's hump day. That's right, hump day. This means I only got 2 more days of this shit this week, thank God. I'm freaking beat. 30 hours so far this week. Yep. Is that open? I want that open. I wonder who opened it or how it got open. I want to open it. I don't think I did. Interesting. Maybe it was open, I just didn't notice. Sunroof. Now we see it. Now we don't. Now we see it. Now we don't. Yep, that's right. And it don't mean nothing. Need to try. It don't mean nothing. Signing on the dotted line. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, way to go, dummy. It's a good way to get hit. Directing traffic, you know, because people need to get out and get home. It's a bad intersection. People, of course, you know, with the way people drive these days, every intersection is a bad intersection. Hell, people can't even drive straight anymore in a straight line. They just, geez, freaking idiots are all over the place. What's up, viewer? How we doing today? Here I'm is, in the words of my buddy Jeff Clayton. Here I am's, here I be. That's right. Look out, world, it's just me on the YouTube. I guess somebody didn't like what I had to say. Hello, viewer, how we doing? Thanks for stopping in. Come on in the house. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and I'm headed to mine from a different one. How about that? 10-hour day today. Not a whole lot to talk about today. I did go see a movie last night that was really good, but I guess you don't care because you just went on, so you missed out. That's right. Damn, I'm having a good hair day today too. How about that shit, y'all? That's a very few and far between. Come on. I can't go left, girl. There's cars in the second lane over there. Oh, you're waiting on this near lane. Okay, I'll see what you're doing. Yep. This is like one of the worst. I almost had somebody hit me right here yesterday. That's why I'm driving my big truck today. I drove my Equinox yesterday, and there was a woman trying to merge on. I had to make a left, and she was trying to merge from my right onto the exit ramp. I don't know if she didn't see me or she thought she could beat me to the punch, but she was like out in the middle of the fucking intersection. By the time I got there, I had to slam on the brakes, and then she stopped and she's like looking at me like I'm the dumbass. You know, I had the right of way. She had a yield sign. She didn't yield. She just kept right on rolling. I don't know. Maybe she was on her cell phone. That seems to be like the main thing these days. Fucking people on their cell phone driving. God, it's hot in here. Turn this shit down. Come on, fan. Where you at? There we go. Let's get some air flowing. Yeah. It's 80. So like 82 degrees out today, I think, something like that. It's a really nice day. Yep. Really nice day. Really nice day. Oh, man. Stayed steady pretty much all day. I just spent a lot of time doing paperwork and stuff. I had all that done this morning before I got there, but it was a pretty steady flow today. I think I ended up doing, I don't know, 10 or 11 vehicles or something like that. It's amazing. I touch more vehicles in one day by myself than the shop does as a whole usually. I've not got anybody watching yet. That's unusual. I've usually got at least 2 or 3 people in there watching me. One of my notification got sent out. How about it, YouTube? You got to promote me. Of course, I'm not getting paid for this. You know, I don't do commercials or anything. But I'll bet you a dime to a dozen when my videos replay, there's commercials in them. I don't get paid for it, but, you know, I guess I'm not big enough yet. I've only been on here, you know, pretty regular for about a year, maybe. So I'm not rich and famous yet. One of these days I'm going to be rich and famous on the YouTube. Yep, I sure am. I'm going to make $1 million one year. I keep on dreaming too, right? YouTube is not going to make me rich. That's why I'm not monetized. I don't really care to be. You know. Well, I guess whoever that was. Hello, viewer. What's happening? I'm waiting on my daughter to jump in there. She ought to be in there in a minute. At some point. Yep. There she is. What's happening, Ashley? You know, I don't get many viewers, but I can always count on Ashley to get in there, at least for a minute or two, right? Yep. So how we doing? Doing all right? You working today? No, maybe. Yes, no, maybe. I like when she says, "Hi, Daddy-O." Yep. She hates it when I say, "Hey, kid." She's like, "Daddy, I'm not a kid." What's the story of the day? Oh, I don't know. Oh, you work tomorrow? Okay. No, I don't know. I don't know. I went and seen a good movie last night. It was a true story about a kid named John O'Leary. John O'Leary was 9 years old back in I want to say it was 87. And he was in an accident and burnt 100% of his body, except for his face. So 99.9% of his body got burned. and it was a freak accident. He was actually doing something he shouldn't have been doing, but I don't think he realized at 9 years old what the danger was. So anyway, he wound up in the hospital, and it shows, like, the movie showed like some of his recovery and some of the steps and people that were involved in his recovery and things like that, some of the stuff that he had to go through. You know, I couldn't imagine at 9 years old, you know, having that much of my body burnt. You know, he had second and third degree burns. Like I said, like 99.9% of his body. The only thing that really wasn't touched was his face. And that was like one of his biggest concerns. He didn't want his face to be burnt. But he didn't get to see it until, you know, he'd already been in a hospital a few months. And but it just, you know, told about his life, and then it showed him, you know, growing up, and you know, what the things that he went through and some of the choices he made and things like that. It's a really good movie. It's called, you got a pencil, I'll tell you the name of it, you can write it down. Or better yet, I'll just show you the movie posters. There was a woman there last night giving out posters for this movie. The movie is called Soul on Fire. This is it right here. Soul on Fire. And I guess this is, he wrote an autobiography, I guess, and this is the autobiography. It was produced by Angel, I want to say Angel Films, but I'm not 100% sure. It was advertised on Facebook or something, and Dee caught wind of it and got free tickets, so I think that was the Angel Network that got that movie. And anyway, but he became, he went through college, and he had a girl that he was hanging out with, and they fell in love with, not at first. I think he was kind of intimidated by her, and she liked him, but she was waiting for him to make the move. And I think that he was just so self-conscious, you know, about his body being burned and scarred the way that it was, and he didn't have the heart or the courage to ask this girl out. Even after a year, he finally did, and she turned him down. But they were still very good friends, and they ended up falling in love, and you know, so it's a love story too. And then he had the St. Louis Cardinals got involved in his whole ordeal. He was a guy named Joe Buck, who used to do the I'm going the wrong way. Used to do the, you know, play-by-play for the St. Louis Cardinals. Went and seen this kid every day, and he told him, you know, every single day, kid, when you get out of here, you know, we're going to throw a big party, and it's going to be a big celebration. You can count on that. And when he went in the hospital, when they took him to the hospital, they told him that he had less than a 1% chance of living, you know, because with somebody that has that much trauma to their body, usually physically they can't stand, you know what I mean? There's no way for them to recover. They just don't have the strength to do it, especially a 9-year-old kid. But, you know, he had another, a nurse that was there that told him, you know, he called him kid too, or a boy, he called him boy. And he kept telling him, boy, you're going to walk again, and boy, you're going to do this, and boy, you're going to do that. Because, you know, he wanted this kid to survive and succeed, and he did. But, you know, I don't really want to give the movie away. It's just really, it's really interesting, the spirit of the human soul or the human mind, you know, especially when you're faced with an adversity. Well, kind of like you, Ashley, you know, when you were in the hospital, nobody expected you to make it either, but you did. I don't know, you know, you were unconscious pretty much the whole time I was there, so I don't really know if, you know, if you were fighting or if the doctors and stuff were just doing the right thing to keep you alive, I don't know. But you know, you couldn't communicate with us as to what was going on in your head and in your heart at that time. I know there was a lot of people praying for you and stuff, but anyway, so it just, you know, it really, I guess, to have a successful life from diversity, you know, something like that, a tragedy happened, and this kid, you know, he could have turned into a drug addict and, you know, pissed his life away and never, you know, amounted to anything, you know, but he graduated from high school, he graduated from college, then he went into contracting. He was a general contractor. And then he did like a, you know, like a story thing, like a, I don't know what they call it, I guess an inspirational talk with a Girl Scout troop, because they, a bunch of the girls at the beginning of the movie, they needed a merit badge of some kind. And, so he volunteered to go talk to this group of girls who were Girl Scouts, and that's kind of how the story starts, you know. And then he opens up it takes him like 5 or 6 minutes to tell them, you know, kind of what happened in his life, but then but he opens up the floor for questions, and I guess the questions kind of lead to the whole story. You know, this is like a 2-hour movie. It started at, I don't know, like 7:30 or something, or 7:05 or something. And I didn't get out of the movie theater and get home last night until about 9:30, so it's about a 2-hour movie. But it's real good. You made me an egg and a sandwich for lunch. Oh, you did? Well, good for you. Look at you moving up in the world. Finally figured out how to work that stove, huh? I'm just messing. Anyway, you get to go see it. Go see a movie called Soul on Fire. Watch the previews for it. It's really good. It's in the theater right now, but I'm sure it'll be on Angel Network on within a few weeks. It'll be there. The first show we were going to go see sold out, so we didn't get to go to that show. We ended up going to a later show, and even still, there was quite a few people there. You know, so most of these Angel Network movies are fictional or true stories. But something that kind of hit me in this movie kind of hard was his dad had Parkinson's disease, which is the same thing my mother died from. And you know, for the last year of my mother's life, I was in Missouri and she was in North Carolina, and then for like the last 3 or 4 months of her life, she spent in a nursing home rehab center, which was like her worst fear. She always, you know, made me promise, hey, you know, Jim, make sure they never put me in a nursing home. I don't want to go to a nursing home. And I would always say, yeah, Mom, I know, I know. But, you know, I didn't have any control over that, you know, where she was. They couldn't send her home because my, never mind, I'm good. Oh, signal? Yeah, I know, I hit a dead spot around the same place all the time. I don't understand what it is about this 70. You know, sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm not. If I had gone the other way, especially without my Wi-Fi in my car, if I had gone the other way, excuse me, working class. But if I had gone the other way, I probably would have lost signal for a longer period of time. Luckily enough for me, 70 is pretty busy, and I guess the cell phone towers along this stretch of road are pretty plentiful. So I don't stay, you know, gone for long. Once I lose my signal, you know, I'm usually pretty good. There's like 2 or 3 spots on the other road that it's parallel with this one. It's like 4 miles that way. It's a little bit longer route too. It takes me about 10 minutes longer going the other way. But I'm in a hurry to get home today because I'm hungry. I ate lunch today. I had a ham and turkey sandwich with lettuce and mater, and it was good. But and then I had some chips with it. But I guess it just didn't fill me up as well as I expected it to, so I'm hungry right now. Hello, viewers. So we've got 3 people in there listening to me. But anyway, so yeah, Mom, you know, I saw Mom. I moved here in 2010, and then I saw Mom at home one time after that. I think it was around Memorial Day, maybe. I don't remember. It's been so long. You know, that was 15 years ago. But I went home to North Carolina to visit with my mom. This was right after I met Dee. So it had to have been May, June, probably June or July. And then I found out in like August or September that my mom had been put in the hospital, that she had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. I think she got pneumonia, and that's kind of how the whole thing started. She got pneumonia, they put her into rehab, and they did some testing and found out she had Parkinson's disease, which, you know, like I've talked about, I think before, the Parkinson's disease went undiagnosed for many years because they thought she had something called cerebellum ataxia. There's a lot of the same symptoms, you know, with, but, you know, she didn't really have like the speech impediment, you know, like she didn't have like a stroke or anything. You know, the speech impediment that you get with Parkinson's is almost like you had a stroke, you know, where you kind of mumble your words and stuff, and you can't really form your mouth to fit the word. So she went misdiagnosed for years, and then, like I said, when she got to the rehab, they did some testing and found out she had Parkinson's disease. And I guess, you know, her body, Mom was 61, let's see, was that right? 62 maybe, when she passed. She didn't fare too well on that new medication. And damn, dude, fucking make the turn already. So I think, you know, part of the reason she died was because of the medication they were giving her. Do I remember what? Oh, wait a minute. Who were you? No, your mom's never had a stroke. There's no such thing. If your mom had a stroke, her face would be limp on one side, and, you know, it would be like this. Your mom's never had a stroke. And I don't think there's any such thing as a mini stroke. That was just one of those medical things that she used to make everybody feel sorry for her, you know, kind of like the cancer. But I don't want to talk about your mom today. Anyway. So, like I said, I think the medication was just too much for her. And I went and seen her, I think it was like early November. Pink Floyd was playing in Atlanta, and I was going to go pick Mom up from the nursing home. Don't attention to the last 2 comments. Okay. Anyway, so we were supposed to go to Atlanta to see the Pink Floyd play, and she was, by this time she'd already been in the nursing home a couple of months by this time, and they didn't really think that, you know, she was strong enough physically or emotionally to go to a concert, you know, to take a 4-hour trip to go see a concert. So I sold the tickets, and we ended up just watching a Pink Floyd concert on a computer. I had my laptop with me, so that's what we did. We watched the concert together. And then that was like the last night I was there, and I was going to be headed back that Sunday or Monday. I don't remember which day it was, but I knew I had to get back to work. And so I told her, I said, well, I'll make plans, Mom, to come see you in the spring. I had planned on going there in March or April of 2011. And February 17th, I got the call. I had just talked to Mom on Friday and was supposed to call her back, over the weekend. And I actually didn't call her back until Sunday. But the nurse that was on duty had told me, oh, she's sleeping right now, because I called kind of late. It was like 9:30, so it would have been 10 o'clock, 10:30 there, because there's an hour difference between where I am and where she's at. And so I thought, well, I'll just call her tomorrow. So I called Monday morning on the 18th. Yeah, 18th. And they told me, they asked me who I was, and I told them, I'm her son. And they said, we hate to inform you, that your mom is not doing too well. And from what the doctor's saying, they don't expect her to make it through the night. Okay, so this was like 7 o'clock in the morning. And so I packed up a suitcase full of clothes, and me and Dee got in a minivan and headed to Charlotte. Monroe, because, well, Charlotte is before Monroe, but it's like a 20-mile difference between Charlotte and Monroe. So we were on our way there, and there was a bunch of people at the nursing home with her, and I kind of kept tabs with them, and I got an opportunity. They put the phone up to her ear, and I got to talk to her. I don't know if there was any response or not, because I wasn't there. I didn't see. But I'm hoping at least she heard me, you know what I mean? And so it got to be about, I don't know, probably 1 o'clock in the morning, and everybody had left. And then I got a call from my uncle, Matthew. I was about 45 minutes away from her being there for her, to see her. And I got a call from my uncle to tell me she'd passed away, like 45 minutes before I got there. So, which was probably a good thing. Man, I don't, anytime a parent dies, it's not a good thing, but I have a feeling that if I had seen her pass, it probably would have been devastating for me. I mean, losing her was devastating enough, but if I had had to be there to see it, it probably would have been a lot worse on me. So, you want the necklace? You want this necklace? I want you to put it in your will. Did I get this necklace? This necklace? I don't know. I've had this necklace for about 8 years or so. I don't think I've ever taken it. Well, I took it off when I was in the hospital because they made me. But other than that, I've never taken it off. I take showers and everything. Okay. I'll see what I can do. You'll just have to write it down. I don't have a will per se. So I got a feeling when I pass away, it's going to be a fucking free for all. And it's going to be between you and your sister, and hopefully I'll live long enough that Anthony's out of prison. But Jake and his mom will probably be handling my estate if it turns out that way, but I'll make sure that Dee knows. Anyway, so all right, guys. Well, I got to go. I'm sitting across the street from my house because I don't want to pull in the driveway because Dee will be home in a little bit. But you guys take it easy. Ashley, good to see you. I don't know who the other viewer is in there. I wish you would have, like, at least commented so I could find out who you are. But if you're just not going to talk, then, at least hit the like button or hit subscribe. I'd like to have more people in my circle, but you know, if you don't want to, that's fine too. I don't make any money. All right, baby, you have a good day too. I'll talk to you again Friday, but for that, I love you too. And for that other viewer out there, thanks for stopping in. I don't get a lot of views usually, but I enjoy the views that I do get when people come and hear me talk and ramble on about absolutely nothing like I'm doing right now. But anyway, I'm signing off. You guys take it easy. I'll talk to you again Friday. We'll see you. Yep, Friday, Friday, Friday. I'll see